This is Zombie Thuggin' Podcast, you cunts.
You're a fucking retarded dog. Get out of here.
Have your pussy.
Yeah.
As our future.
Pussy.
What would you eat for your last meal?
Megan Fox. Yeah.
Welcome to Zombie Thuggin' Podcast. My name is Buddha. And normally you would hear the voice of Sidewayzzz, but again, unfortunately, he's not here today. Sidewayzzz got a couple things he had to take care of, so he wasn't able to make it for this episode. And it's okay. Sidewayzzz, he'll be here for the next episode, I guarantee it. But a lot of stuff I want to cover today, he doesn't really watch. Today is going to be a very WWE eccentric episode because this last weekend we had a couple pay-per-views, a couple events, so just wanted to go over my thoughts on them and kind of stuff like that. So the first thing I wanted to bring up was NXT, what I guess a lot of people are calling the minor leagues for the WWE. They had a what they call takeover in San Antonio, where they also, the day before they did the Royal Rumble. And so I just want to kind of give you my thoughts on the pay-per-view, what I liked, what I didn't like. It starts off with Ty Dillinger versus Eric Young. And I'm a huge Eric Young fan, so it was good to see that he's in NXT. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him, especially... and I'll say this now, with what happens at the end of the pay-per-view with Bobby Roode winning the championship, because those two go back from TNA. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that, if they do consider putting Eric Young in the main event picture down the road. But the match starts off, it's a really good match. It's about 10, 15 minutes, about 10, 12 minutes, I'd say. Good back and forth. Both guys... do a good job of selling, but don't have any complaints about that match. Like I said, it's a real good match. If you haven't seen it, I'd watch it. It's a good match. The second match on the card, if I remember right, is Roderick Strong versus Andre Alamis. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad match. Roderick Strong again. It's a good guy. I've watched his matches from ROH, so, and I also think he was in TNA for a while. But it was a good match. I really have no major complaints with this pay-per-view. I think every match was pretty decent. But I will have one minor complaint in regards to the match I'm going to speak of in a couple of minutes here. The match after this was for the NXT Tag Team Championship. It featured DIY, the champions, versus the Authors of Pain. And, with these matches, you can tell the Authors of Pain, they're still trying to find their way through a match. It's great that they have DIY to work with. I think DIY is a really good tag team, and I can't wait to see, if they actually make it up to the Raw or SmackDown. I'd like to see him on SmackDown. I think SmackDown needs some more tag teams. Raw has a decent amount. They just need to use them better. It's a long match. I didn't think they were going to give them that much of time, but it's about 14 minutes, and it's a really good match. I didn't have a lot of high hope for this match, just because you had two big guys going against two small guys. I'm also afraid that they're going to play like the game of the big guys dominating the little guys and just like a squash match. That's pretty much what I'm looking for here. But it didn't happen. There was a good amount of offense from, DIY got in. So I was real happy with that match. The match after that was the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Championship. And here's my beef with this. I thought the match was okay. It was a good match. It could have been longer, though. Could have gave the girls more longer. It's about 9 minutes and 10 minutes around there. So it just seemed like a short match for that time frame. I thought, you give them 15, 16 minutes around there, they could tell more of a story. But, for what they had, it wasn't a bad match. I'm not going to say it was horrible or anything like that. I thought it was a good match. And then we got to the main event. And I just love the fact that they give Bobby Roode like these crazy entrances, I guess you would say. It almost seemed like Ric Flair at this time with the girls he was walking down the ring with. And of course, Shinsuke Nakamura. He also had like a little scooter, like not a scooter, but like a little thing, like a float thing that he was on. And I love his entrance music. It's so badass. Match itself was real good. Good 25, 30 minute match. It was, both, neither one dominated really. Both got in a good amount of offense. Told a really good story. And I was really concerned. I don't know. They made it seem like Nakamura was really injured. I know it's storyline and all that, but it did really look like he fucked up his knee. But I'm hoping that's not the case because, NXT needs Nakamura. Hell, we need Nakamura. He's so fucking good of a performer. So I'm hoping he's not really legitimately hurt. But overall, I think NXT for the 2 hours, 2:30 that they put on for these type of events are so fucking good. It's so streamlined. It's so because they also had an event on Saturday. Short term notice all the fucking time. So he's like a true MMA warrior. He's in it for the money, but to me, I think he does it because he loves the fucking fight, and I have so much respect for that. But dude was knocked out at the end of that first round. When they showed him in the corner with Greg Jackson talking to him, he was out. I don't know if he knew where the fuck he was, but he was out. And Masvidal thankfully gave him a Warrior's death really quick in the second round. I think it was about a minute TKO. But quite honestly, that fight should have been stopped at the end of the first round. Should have never gone saved by the bell or whatever. Dude was out. His clock was clean. The other fight I did see was the main event, Shevchenko versus Pena. That was a good fucking fight. In the first fucking round, Pena gets Shevchenko in a armbar. It almost looks like she's going to win the fight. Shevchenko gets out of it. Second round happens. She gets Pena in an armbar and actually gets her tap out. And I thought that was kind of fucking cool. So now she's going to fight Nunez again for the title. And I can't wait. That'll be a good fight. That should be a good fight. That's going to end my talk for UFC. The other thing I want to talk about, of course, was the Royal Rumble. I didn't get to watch the kickoff show, but I did watch majority of the pay-per-view. I am glad to see that the club did win the championship. I always felt kind of bad for them because they came over from New Japan, and you thought that they were going to win the championship not too far after they came over, but they kind of dicked around with him. I thought what really hurt them was the fact that they were with AJ for a while, and then they were taken away from AJ with the draft and all. I think they should have kept him with AJ, and then you could have had a faction where AJ's the champ, the WWE champion, and you have, excuse me, the club as the tag team championship. I think, you could deal with that. It's kind of like what the Bullet Club was in New Japan. So you kind of do a variation of that here. But that wasn't the case. They wanted to keep the championship on, at least the Raw, what they call the Raw Championship, tag championships now. They wanted to keep that on New Day so they could break Demolition's record. Which I get, but, whatever. It's funny, though. Shortly after they break that record, man, they lose it to Cesaro and Sheamus. The other thing, I know there's some, I think it might have been six woman tag match, but I didn't watch it. I think the match starts off, yeah, that's right. The pay-per-view starts off with Bayley versus Charlotte. It was a good match. The women, they've done so much better with the women's wrestling now compared to when it was back in almost the mid, I'd almost say more like 3-4 years ago. When it was shit, it was like Divas Championship, and you could tell none of the girls were really fluent in what they were doing. But, I mean, what was I talking about? Okay, yeah, about Charlotte and Bayley. I knew that going into it, Bayley wasn't going to win the match, because I have read some things. I do see what they're going to probably end up doing is a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania with Bayley, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte. And I think there you're going to see Charlotte lose the belt to Bayley. I do think it's going to go to Bayley at the end of WrestleMania. When it's all said and over, Bayley's going to walk out WrestleMania with the championship. The second match, let me find it here. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't. That's right. It was actually Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. Excuse me again. Got a little cough going on here. This match, I had a lot of fear going in this match. I had the fear that they're going to put the belt on Roman Reigns. And I feel like they just shove him down our throats so much. And I get it, that's, he sells and stuff like that. He sells merchandise. And they see something in him, but I thought this match was pretty good. I thought they had pretty good chemistry together. I love the fact that Kevin Owens sets up the pyramid of chairs, and you just knew that Roman Reigns wasn't going into that. That was Kevin Owens going to be pushed into that, and of course that's what happens. And then Braun Strowman comes down and interferes in the match and costs Roman Reigns the championship. I love the fact that Chris Jericho drops brass knuckles to Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens does the Superman punch to Roman Reigns. I thought that was kind of funny. Again, it was this weekend. There really wasn't a really bad match that I can remember. Each one had some decent things, and none were perfect, but they weren't matches were oh god, what we used to call the women's matches, the bathroom break back in the day, but not anymore. The women's matches are sometimes even better than the men's matches. The second match after that, the third match after that was Neville versus Rich Swann for the Cruiserweight Championship. And I feel like the crowd kind of just gave up on this match. They didn't have any heart into it or whatsoever, and I think sometimes that can hurt a match. They were dead in this match, and I thought it was a pretty decent match. Neville's fucking amazing performer, and that's not taking anything away from Rich Swann because he's equally as good too. But I mean, Neville is just, oh god, I could watch Neville fucking wrestle, all fucking day.